Today is National Coffee Day.
Coffee, coffee, coffee.
Which makes it a perfect time for not-so-great moments and kids tasting coffee.
It tastes sour.
Ew. Ew, ew, ew.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh.
Ah, coffee.
I can't.
That's disgusting.
Oh, now it tastes bad. Oh, what is that?
Tastes like sand.
Oh, I just drank coffee. Oh, no. The taste of crazy adults.
Coffee. Nope.
Nope. I don't like it. No, take it away now. It just... My gosh! How do you drink that?
Drink this.
Yeah, I like coffee.
This has been Not-So-Great Moments and Kids Tasting Coffee.
How is it?
Good? I'm okay.
Happy National Coffee Day for those of us who have the beans to drink it.
Ew!
Oh, wake up and snort the coffee.
All right, listen up, you guys.
For those of you who just joined us, where have you been?
I feel like there's a chance for me to start over.
I feel so snappy and peppy.
That sounds great. Welcome.
Peppy, snappy and peppy. That's me this morning. Golly, you know why? Because it's National Coffee Day. Before I say anything else, happy National Coffee Day. May a warm cup of joe be your friend. And if you don't like coffee, maybe find something else. Hello. Is that your baby milk quote? It's been kind of a heavy 24 hours. Lots of prayer needs out here. Our Liz, the amazing Liz here at work, her sister was in a car wreck. Ah, damn it. Okay. I'll fix it. Not in the mood for it today, though. Hello, my name is Satan, and apparently it requires me to... Let's try... What happens if I do this? Hey, how about now? So I don't need the volume mixer. I just need you to do what I say. Can I please get my support? Say it is that thing. Is it still creepy? Sorry. I hate this fucking Windows. That's why I absolutely blame Windows. Sound settings, and since it's Windows 11 and everything's kinder and softer and rounder corners, it's harder to find the fucking settings so I can fix this. Yeah, Dennis, it's doing its stupid Windows audio thing. Slowly but surely, I'll get to the settings. And then I'll just talk like this right now and talk myself up. Hey, settings. Fuck. I debated having a show this morning, I'm going to be completely honest, because of what I needed. Because what's going on? Fucking come on! Stick with me. You know, there's a time when you could just go to the device properties, and then you were in there. Creeping. Unmute myself. There we go. Fucking retarded. See, and what's stupid is I had to flip it back to what was doing the monster voice the last time. You go from 44 8,000 to 44 1,000 for the kilohertz, for the bandwidth. That's all it is. Going back to the one that last time caused that issue. It's stupid. There is no logic to it. All right, so again, it's National Coffee Day. Today I'm drinking the Harvest Moon blend from next door with, you're damn right, a little splash of sugar-free mocha. And now that it's 7 minutes wasted in my morning show, we're going to get going. It's VFW Day. It's National Biscotti Day. I don't like biscottis. I don't like dry-ass cookie breads. National Mocha Day. Doubling up. This guy right here, doubling up. And Swedish Fish Day. canned or gummied. Let's get the TIQ going. I'm going to change my mood. That was kind of the coup de grace on the morning frustrations. I'm also frustrated because my on-air liner notes have not been updated since last Tuesday. I don't have anything to talk about this morning. In 1950, only 7% of women did this. Now up to 75% do this. What is it? Yep. Swedish Chef Day. That should be a thing. Perhaps it is. Burning, burn. Yeah. Swedish Chef Day. Vertifurk. My sister got me a towel just to keep in my Jeep. And if you ever top off and you have black leather seats, it's nice to have a white towel you can lay on your seats. But anyway, it's like a kitchen-sized towel, but it's got the Swedish Chef, and it just says Vertifurk. And it makes me laugh every time I use it. Only 5% of women, only 7% of women, did this in 1950. What about today? Work, smoke, shave. Back then, they just went au natural. It was a very Parisian style, eventually braiding the armpits. But no, that's not it. But guess away on today's CIQ. What would a CIQ be? Close in quarters? Let's get some birthdays knocked out. We got a show today, and I don't know if I'm going to do the whole show that I put out today because I'm in a different mindset than what I was in last night when I started to put this together. And frankly, I don't know if the ice is thick enough for me to walk across this morning. It's all on me, not on anybody else. Wore pants. That's a good guess. Fred. Oh, but we're gonna see poor Dennis just flailing away. Vote. Nope, that's a good guess. Happy birthday to Brennan Tote. Brennan's birthday today. Went to college. No. Wore pants. Washed their booties. No. All the cracks and crevices. Brennan Tote, happy birthday. Courtney Cassette, happy birthday, Courtney. She's a rocker. She can rock a ukulele, and she can rock a baby to sleep, I guess. I don't know. No, Fred. Not to my knowledge, anyway, but I haven't seen what's been redacted, so. Heather Feemster Bruni, happy birthday. Happy birthday to Sheila King. Sheila is one of the most quiet, laid-back people I've ever met in my life. Ha! Note sarcasm. Sheila's awesome. Happy birthday, Sheila. Happy birthday to Eric Brooks. Eric is celebrating, I think it was 62 today, 61. Have a bank account. That's a good guess, Dennis. Played sports. No, another good guess. I don't, this was one of those that I caught the answer before I had a chance to think about it, so I didn't really get to guess on this one. But I'll be curious to see what your guesses are. It's not an out-of-this-world kind of thing. Played sports. Good guess. Went to men's bars. Nope. Eric Brooks, happy birthday. Michelle Outman. Michelle, happy birthday. That's a big-hearted human right there, boys and girls. I hope you have an awesome Monday birthday. Gots to stay washing. Gots to. Ellen Auden. Happy birthday, Ellen. If I were on the top of the mountain, I would proclaim it for all to hear. It is Ellen's birthday. Ellen's an awesome human. She is married to Jen, and Jen is also an awesome human. Gosh darn it, they're doubling down in that house. Happy birthday, Ellen. Hope it's an awesome day. Ran for public office. Oh, that's a good guess. I wouldn't have thought of that one. And Nathan Elder. Happy birthday, Nathan Elder. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Nathan, never comes on Facebook. He's one of those guys that has an account, probably hasn't logged on to it since 2018. I don't know. It's been a minute. Join the military. Oh, that's another good guess. Dennis is feeling mentally spry this morning. He's coming up with some good guesses. But in 1950, only 7% of women did this. Now up to 75% of women are knocking it out of the park. Keep a guessing. Singer Halsey turns 31 today. Isn't that Bieber's baby mama? I don't know about pop culture, but I think so. That's a terrible way to conceive it, I guess, are they married? I don't know. I'm not friends with either of them, so it's not on my radar. Kevin Durant's 37 today. Dribble, dribble, shoot, swish. Happy birthday. I hope you get 3 pointers on your birthday. Calvin Johnson, former wide receiver, turns 40 today, the big 4-0. Enjoying retirement, I would hope. Joined the military. That's a good guess, though. Just driving a car. That's a good guess. Not it. Zachary Levy is 45 today. Chrissy Metz is also 45 today. I don't know who either of those people are. I'm going to assume that they were probably child actors that some of you would recognize, and now they're grown up. I don't know. Zachary Levy, or Levi, or Levy, however you pronounce it. Beaver Baby Mama. And they do jug band music. Former playmate and co-star of Under Siege with Steven Seagal, Erica Eleniak, is 56 today. We saw her boobs in that movie. In Under Siege, it was an important role. Just work. Matt, have a job. It's a good guess. That's not it. Jill Whelan of The Love Boat is 59 today. Happy birthday to Jill. Happy birthday to the Dice Man, Andrew Dice Clay. He is 68 today. I had the pleasure of interviewing Dice. He came to Cape and did a comedy show several years back. But I got to have a chat with him, and it was a long chat. We had a long conversation. I really enjoyed it. It's a really nice freaking guy. Also, one of the raunchiest, rowdiest, just most provocative comedians to come through the 80s and beyond. But, I mean, he's mellowed over the years, thank God. But the Dice Man, and the guys that still quote Dice Man, they're like, yeah, it's still funny to me. Those are the same of you who come to a Tone Deaf show and want to hear the boobies and the poor taste songs. Let's go back up here. Bought a house. No. Cooked. No. That's a good guess. Had a full-time job. No. Were single mothers. Ooh, that's another. You guys are thinking on this one. I'm impressed. You went to that show, Matt? Was Beaver's baby mama there? They opened for him. So Andrew Dice Clay, 68 today. Happy birthday, Dice Man. I hope you have a great, blessed day. Bryant Gumbel is 77 today. And Deadwood's Ian McShane is 83. Did you guys watch Deadwood? I never watched when they came back later and made the one movie for the ending, kind of the whole wrap-up. I'd never seen that. I need to go rewatch Deadwood. That was a good-ass series. Just saying. All right, it is 7:45. Let's get on down the road here, get some today's history nuggets. Time traveling Tony here is getting ready to go through the portal to the spaceman. Happy Monday. The movie was okay, and that's kind of what, my friend John Lohr and I we were into Deadwood when it was out, right? And he kind of said the same thing. It wasn't bad, but it definitely wasn't the show. Yeah, the show was phenomenal. And Ian McShane, between that and John Wick, that's his lifetime role is to be that guy. That's who he was in Deadwood, and they spun that shit up for John Wick and said, here you go. Here's another one. And he just puts it on a tee. Yeah, but Deadwood, though, just top to bottom, what a show. What a phenomenal, well-written show. Today in 1789, Deadwood came out on HBO. No. The first regular army was established by the United States Department of War. That's right. Happy birthday, Army, 1789. If you're an Army vet, thanks for your service. If you had, veterans in your family, thank them for your service. Army vets. It's Army birthday today. U.S. Department of War said, oh, shit. Yeah, we need an Army. It's official. 1966, the Chevrolet Camaro was introduced to the world. It was originally called the Panther. Yeah. But unfortunately, my dad was $2 short to get the tattoo, so instead they named it the Camaro. Played sports, says Gregory. No. Lorraine, you did get it. It is color. They colored their hair. TIQ's been answered. Hang on, I got to take this. This is Darren. Yeah. Yes, sir. Okay. Well, and that's one thing I forgot to ask you guys about because I noticed that a couple times when she was pulling away, it was getting a little squeal, and I hadn't had a chance to look at anything in the belts. Okay. Yeah, let's get the rear pads done. What's the damage like to get that belt knocked out? Okay, yeah, let's knock it out and just get it while you got it in there. The front brakes look all right, though? Yes. Okay, good deal. All right, man, I appreciate you. All right, bye-bye. That would be Jeremy at Campus Tire, where I trust them to take care of the car. So they got the Jeep this morning, the one Layla's been driving. Layla has my Wrangler this morning. So pray. Pray. Is Dad nervous about her driving the Wrangler? No, I am nervous about dickhead high school kids that park close to my Jeep at the high school. I like my Jeep. I don't want it jacked up. I trust Layla mostly to not jack it up, but it's also got a turbo in it. So she's, But congratulations, Lorraine. You get a pinky. We're going to pink up. And we'll go gold for childhood cancer too. Okay? But Lorraine got it. Yeah, it was colored their hair, which is really surprising because we all looked at things like we thought of a deprecation to women, right? Like, oh, they're being oppressed against voting or not wanting them to work or doing the things that we traditionally think of as the, not the 4 C's of womanhood in the 1950s: cooking, cleaning, childcare, and chopping wood, right? So I like it. You guys spun it up. The TIQ was fun today. Thank you. Congrats, Lorraine. High fives all around. So yeah, Lorraine got it, colored their hair, and you win a roll of the dice, the casino dice. Okay, let's see what your number is, Lorraine. Lorraine, oh my God, it just happened. Snake eyes. Lorraine got snake eyes this morning. What does that mean? It means that in 1973, the number one song in the land was Grand Funk Railroad's "We're an American Band." A statement of, hell yeah, we're coming to your country. We're ready to fucking party. We're an American band. I feel like a Tenacious D cover should have been done to that. Hey, good morning, Katie. Were you giggling at my nervousness of Layla driving the Jeep? But yeah, so the 2012 Grand Cherokee's in for 4 new tires, back brakes, oil change, and a serpentine belt. That's what you got to do. I've been spending money like, you have some CT cowbells. That's what this orange one is. Where did I get this? I don't remember. At something. And I was like, hey. But if you got CT ones, yeah, we'll be down for a CT. Some of you of the elder persuasion, she'll be fine. Yeah. And my Jeep I'll be swapping out. She'll come back from volleyball and be like, oh, back in my Jeep. And I'll be $1,000 poor. 1982. And first off, let me say this too. When you go to the store and you buy a bottle of Tylenol or Excedrin or whatever, and it's got the safety seal, right? The do not take if the seal has been broken. And we see that on a majority of our items in the store, right? Prior to 1982, it really wasn't a thing because in 1982, people had bought extra strength Tylenol, and 7 people died after taking extra strength Tylenol. Why? Because some asshole laced the Tylenol capsules with cyanide. Yeah, poison people. Somebody went in a fucking store and slipped some cyanide into the extra strength Tylenol because there wasn't no safety seal. You just trust that people weren't going to do that shit. Well, somebody did. So that led to the use of safety seals on most consumer products. Not just medicines, but most consumer products. So you can safely have your probiotic gummies without worrying about somebody, spraying DDT in there or something. No, they didn't, John. Never found out who it was. It's crazy. 2 years later, speaking of crazy, Prince and the Revolution hit number 1 with Let's Go Crazy. Let's get nuts. Let's look for the purple banana till they put us in the truck. Let's go. Purple banana's an eggplant. 1985, one of the best shows ever created, MacGyver, debuted on ABC. Not the movie, not the MacGoober, not the none of that. No, MacGyver, the OG. Freaking rubber bands and paper clips, saving the world. 1990, number 1 song in the land, probably one of my least favorite songs from 1990, the Nelson Brothers and Love and Affection. Or it's just Nelson. They're not the Nelson Brothers, because that was more like Ricky's thing. But I can't go without your love and affection. I can't spend another night on my own. Stop being such a wuss. 1991, though, 1 year later, Nirvana, Smells Like Teen Spirit. The video is played by MTV for the first time. Ding-a-ding, dick-a-dick-a-ding, and they trashed the gym. No more homecoming for Nirvana. You've been suspended. A homicidal maniac who only targeted headed people? You mean headache people? I don't know. I do know this, 1996, some of you were super excited because you were younger than me, and the Nintendo 64 debuted. Who had a Nintendo 64 and was super excited about that in 1996? Headache people, yeah. I never had a 64. I was more into Jaeger. 2003, President Bush signs legislation to ratify the national do not call list for telemarketers. Hooray! Hooray, thank you for starting that do not call list. 2 years later, he had a really terrible response to Hurricane Katrina, and that's why it required for people to do things above and beyond to help out with Hurricane Katrina, quite like Terrell Owens. Terrell Owens sold his 2004 NFC Championship ring. Big deal for him. Sold it for $48,200 and donated the proceeds to the victims of Hurricane Katrina. That's a selfless act. Good job. It's okay, Gregory. Your fingers are your worst enemy. I got a ringer for him. Shit. 2007, number 1 song in the land, Stronger by Kanye. Yep. Sampling the Daft Punk. No. Stronger, number 1, 2007. And then, I don't know if any of you guys have been to Detroit to visit yet, but in 2021, Eminem opened up a restaurant in Detroit called Mom's Spaghetti, taken, of course, from the line from Lose Yourself. The first fans that came in line were actually served by Slim Shady. Chicka, chicka, chicka. You want marinara, bitch? But yeah, 2021, I assume it's still open. I don't know. Never followed the legacy of Eminem's Spaghetti Restaurant. Is that what was at an Italian place? Because he doesn't feel like an Italian place kind of guy to me. I don't know. I do know this. Got a warm week ahead. Stone Richards, ladies and gentlemen. He tried to convince me Saturday night after a couple of bourbons. Was it Saturday night? No, it was Friday night. Friday night after a couple of bourbons that he's Ryan Gosling's uncle. And I'm like, I can't even see. No. So stupid. Stone, what's the weather this week, though? Upper 80s for the highs today. 86, 87-ish. Plenty of sunshine all week long. About a 5 to 7 mile an hour breeze blowing through. Lows around 58 to 61 through the week. We're going to see the highs stay in the mid to upper 80s for the week, and it's going to be dry. So, is it fake fall? Is it third summer? I feel like mid to upper 80s without the humidity is still kind of fall-esque. But it's a little hot. You know, we went and picked pumpkins out yesterday. Not picked them out of the field, but from our secret location. We went and got our pumpkins yesterday. And I'm kind of thinking, man, those porch pumpkins, you got to watch that afternoon sun. You're going to cook them little bitches right there on the porch. The great pumpkin's going to show up sweating. For your autocorrect, yes. Like, hitter is great. Oh, poor Mr. Gannon and his misinterpreted texts. Anyway, so yeah, pretty boring week weather-wise. No SEMO football this Saturday. They're off. It is SEMO trivia night, though, Saturday night. You should get a table and come hang out. It's fun. I like emceeing that one. Plus, SEMO always makes emceeing things easy. Like, everything's just put together well done. Makes me happy. I like working things for them. It's Brekkie Bits time. A moment of silence for my minuscule crush on Selena Gomez as I shelve that one because Selena and Benny Blanco have officially married over the weekend on Saturday in Santa Barbara. They have been dating for a couple of years, and they hitched on Saturday. I don't know. I assume Steve Martin and Martin Short were at the wedding. I would hope so. But Benny Blanco, by the way, is a pop singer. Sings some song called Hands to Myself. I don't know. I thought that was a Black Oak, Arkansas song or something. I don't know. 33 and 37, respectively, Benny and Selena. Congratulations on the nuptials. You know what? We're okay with your typos. I think it kind of bespeaks a little flavor into the morning show. By the way, a possible U.S. government shutdown may kick in after tomorrow night if Congress fails to pass a funding bill by midnight tomorrow. 12:01 a.m. Wednesday. And, it's interesting to me when these have happened in the past, and this is inevitability that some dumb thing will pass and we'll spend more money that doesn't exist, and, we'll continue to put socks on over the open wound and to soak the blood until at some point it's gangrenous. But anyway, but they're making, I noticed in the media, usually when these things happen, it's like causing a shutdown and federal work, blah, blah, blah. But they're very specifically mentioning like federal workers such as ICE agents, Border Patrol agents, like things that are politically heated right now. They're mentioning that those guys aren't going to get paid. I'm like, well, it's always that way. But why do you have to pick on that? Like, why you got to twist it that way? See, that's why I don't like news media and modern media that you get your news from. Most of it's bullshit. Still debating on whether we're going to hit this last thing today or not. A new survey, speaking of modern news, a new survey has shown that 20% of adults these days get their news solely from TikTok. 1 in 5 adults are getting their news just from TikTok. Just from TikTok. Not that that's any more or less reliable source than CBS or NBC or whatever, CNN, whatever news and Fox News, all that crap. All of them are out there, have their own spin on the same thing. And you will see those comparisons, right? Where there's this headline. This is what happened. Bob's house blew up. Where one news agency, reports it as a tragic thing. The other one reports it as a strike, and so everything always gets twisted up. So what's to say TikTok is no more or less accurate than that? Well, I don't know. First off, it's coming out of China. I know the content's not necessarily, but it's going through the motions there. So I don't know. I don't get into the whole politics of things, but I think that's fucking scary. Sorry for the F-bomb. But if 20% of us are getting our news from there, you should get news, if you're into fucking paying attention, from multiple sources. So you can contrast and compare. Think of it as a science experiment, right? You have your controlled group, which is what in the White House blew up. And then you have your experiments, the different medias and how they have affected it with their different infections and bacteria and whatever else to change it. I'm not sure, Dennis. I'd heard that. Yeah, the world's ended a few thousand times, so there you go. By the way, didn't get raptured last week. I don't know if any of you did. I've seen a lot of kids under 12 still around. And thus I will come as a thief in the night, and you shall not know the time or the place. That's paraphrasing, but false prophets, baby, everywhere, everywhere. My goodness. Verify through 3 sources is your rule. And I think that's a good rule, Gregory. Yeah. Enough serious bullshit. Let's dig in on this one. First off, Sean Alexander. He was former player for the Seahawks, NFL player. He was a MVP during the league during the 2005 season. He and his wife have a big family. A big family. To the point that they have just announced their 14th child together. Oh, Sean. Oh, Mrs. Alexander. I think it's wonderful. You love those babies and you raise them up and you got your own football team and bench. But 14 children. I'm tired already just thinking of that. That is amazing. I'm sure they got help, good family structure over there. But congratulations to the Alexanders on child 24. No, that's 24. 14. Or is it 15? 15. Mate and man here, got to run. Oh, Lorraine, I've seen some movies that start that way. Hey, have a great day. Have a fantastic Monday. Thanks for popping in and smoking that TIQ. You only get your news from me, Dennis? Hey, you're not getting much news. Here's some good news. Here's some fantastic news, as a matter of fact, and this will make Mickey glow a little bit too, I think. Rick Moranis out of retirement. Filming has begun on Spaceballs 2, the sequel. Others include Josh Gad, Keke Palmer, Lewis Pullman, Anthony Kerrigan, Bill Pullman, and, of course, Mel Brooks. Spaceballs 2. Electric Boogaloo. I can't wait. Swiftie alert for Bethy and all of my other Swiftie fans here today. Taylor, we're on a first-name basis. Taylor Swift is going to be on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon on October the 6th. That's a week from tonight. To talk about her new album, The Life of a Showgirl. A little disappointed that it wasn't the same kind of showgirl as Showgirls was, but it was still a great album. Happy day for Taylor. And also, one other thing in the AI world, OpenAI has launched ChatGPT Pulse. This is part of their paid plan feature, but this feature generates personal subject matter briefs for users overnight. So as you sleep and as the morning begins, it compiles, based on you, your choices, your algorithm, your blah, 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 blah. Ooh, sirens. Compiles a hot news story. So you get up in the morning, ChatGPT Pulse has got your morning news lined up. It's got your morning information, everything there based on what you have told it that you want to look at through Reddit feeds, through your Facebook browsing, through all the things you do in your digital cookie world. ChatGPT Pulse can then pull that and curate news for you for a morning brief. Now, to me, that sounds like a great way to continue to narrow your focus and keep your mindset unbroadened. I don't know. It's kind of scary. But it's AI, and you know what's cool about that? There's free versions of AI, and you can do all kinds of things like, put horns on your own picture or something. A lot of those things like that, ChatGPT, you can pay for this subscription, you can pay for that kind of thing. You can, do this online and spend some money on it. But there are a lot of cool things out in the world that are free. That's right. Like the Soup Dragon said, I'm free to do what I want any old time. But cutting costs doesn't always mean giving things up, right? We try to cull costs down. Maybe we say, I'm going to chop this subscription off because it's cost me this much money or whatever. In many cases, it just means knowing to ask the right questions or where to look for alternative options to something that you're spending money on. So here's some expensive things that you're still paying for that have amazing free versions, okay? Let's see. Yeah. So we're freeing ourselves from the woods of paying money. That's what the graphic means. I don't know. I was distracted last night when I was trying to do this. College level courses without the tuition. You can find free college level courses out there. Quite a few of them, and not hard to find those. And I'm going to kind of blow through these because I don't want to waste a lot of time on them. Giving you the discount. Rental car insurance probably is already covered by the card that you put the rental car on, right? So don't spend extra money on the insurance. Look at what your card agreement is when you rent a car and what that covers, okay? Office software that doesn't come with a subscription. Now, this is not true for Adobe products other than, you can get a free Acrobat, but you're not getting a lot of free services there. But office software that I got to have Microsoft Office 360. Do you? There's plenty of alternative versions of software. There's Google Docs that you can create most things you do in Microsoft Office with certain limitations, but not too many. Books, audiobooks, magazines, so many free ones of those out there. Holy cow. Look at them go. Podcasts all day for free. Unlimited music with a few commercials. Now, some of you, Pandora users, I haven't used Pandora since, 10 years ago. I'm a Spotify guy, and I pay for my Spotify because it gives me multiple accounts, family account, right? So I got one that's just a station login that I use for Real Rock so that my personal algorithm stays free of all those things. And Layla's got her own, so it stays free all her hype music she wants to rock out to. So, National Coffee Day. But yeah, you can get a free Pandora account. Just don't be that guy that plays the free Pandora account at the wedding reception or at the event where it's like listening to music and all of a sudden, Pandora offers you the new Hims dick pills and it runs a commercial and you're like, oh, what's going on? It's because you're chintzy. Don't do that for situations. But when you outside of that, go for it. Kids eat free if you pick the right day, right? Scout out the restaurants. Know what's their kids eat free nights back in our day when the kids were small enough to pass for that, which wasn't very long. We used to hit them up, man. Texas Roadhouse, you'd have bargain nights. You could go get it all. Bound chicka wow wow. Fred's catching up. International calls without the phone bill. You can do a lot of calling over the internet, VoIP calls and so forth, where it won't cost you anything, We don't remember back in the day, man, long-distance calls, you had to worry about that shit. I can remember playing World of Warcraft, and a friend of mine that played Warcraft with us, her daughter was, I think, 13, 14 at the time, and she had been text messaging, and this was back when you had to pay per message, and she had these ridiculous bills from text messaging because her daughter wasn't watching her business. But now, with the power of the internet, clickety-clack, don't cost you shit. Adoption instead of shopping for a pet. Well, this is just common sense goodness. Adopt, don't shop. But yeah, you can save versus, X amount of hundreds of dollars for some specific puppy, and you go to the shelter and you pay your adoption fee and get them neutered, and you got the better puppy out of the whole deal. That is fair. Stock trades with no brokerage fees. That's another thing. Musical festivals. You want to get into a music festival for free? And this was very true of our own Shipyard Festival years ago. Volunteer. Volunteer to work for a 4-hour shift or 2-hour shift or whatever they require, and that will get you passes into the festival most of the time. And maybe you're working the ticket gate, or maybe you're handing out bottles of water. Whatever the gig might be, it's pretty easy at a music festival to volunteer. So there's an opportunity for you to go rock out for free. And sometimes that gets you in a better spot too, right? Cloud storage without subscriptions. A lot of times your free account that you signed up with Google gives you 100 gigabyte of space for storage or whatever. A lot of times you may already have a photo video storage account with something you're paying for and you don't even know it. And then you're paying more for something somewhere else. So think about that. Smoke detectors. You can get free smoke detectors. How do you do that, Darren? Well, you go to the fire department and you say, hey, can I get a smoke detector? And they're like, hell yeah, we'd be happy to help you with that through our outreach program. Bonus point for that, too, and I'm not necessarily saying you get a free one, but if you got a new baby, you don't know how to put a car seat in properly, the fire department and the police department will both make sure that's installed 100% properly, make sure the car seat is not expired. Those are important things. So important. Matter of fact, I can say this morning definitively that I know of 2 kids that car seats saved their life this weekend. So make sure it's done right. Side note, fitness and workout plans, you can get those for free. You can get a workout plan online anywhere just about. Say, here's my body type, here's my goals, here's my workout plan. And then you got that. So there you go. So those are some ways you can just, cost saving, save some money, find some free versions of things. If you like to watch Cape Catfish, you can go sit on Cherry Hill like them cheap-ass folks that don't want to buy a ticket but want to watch the ball game from left center where there are no bleachers yet. There should be. No. Bad doggo, don't eat that. Here are some foods that your dog should not eat lest they die. But a lot of us, we'll give in to our puppers and give them a little scrap of this every now and then, right? It's bacon. You can have a little bacon. And it's tempting to toss the doggo a little snacky treat, right? Resist that urge. There are some foods that we love, human consumption, all day long, that can be dangerous and even deadly to your dogs and your pets. As soon as you say that, Gregory, the first thing that comes to mind is the Lebowski, what condition my condition is in moment of the movie where he was swinging the hammer, and the jumpsuit and the got his work belt on and everything. I'm picturing you. I feel like that may be a new Fred Photoshop moment. What condition my condition was in. Yeah, oh yeah. Gregory Gannon as the dude. 6 foods your dog should never eat. Raw meat. What? I thought raw meat is good for a dog's diet. Not raw meat, but like good high protein meat. But raw meat, just like for humans, can contain E. coli bacteria, salmonella, harmful baddies that could be in the raw meat. Don't handle raw meat and then give your dog, a treat without you've washed your hands. Practice your serve safe with your dog just like you would for yourself, all right? Don't go messing with all the chicken and then be like, you wouldn't lick your fingers after messing with raw chicken breasts, right? So don't do that with your dog either. Raw meat, no. Good meat, yeah. Cook it up. Grapes, raisins, and currants. I knew about grapes, and raisins obviously are old grapes, dried up grapes, pruned grapes, but they can cause kidney failure in dogs. Same for cats, and some dogs worse than others. But grapes, raisins, currants, don't give those to your dog. Plus, grapes are kind of a choking hazard. Let's be honest. Not a fan of Jeff Bridges. I can't say I really float either way on it. Like, I can't say I've hated the roles he's in. Iron Man, kind of dug his role, but I can get that. He's not for all tastes. Although Tron. Fried and fatty foods, okay? They can not only give your dog a tummy ache, but it can also cause pancreatitis, which is a potential life-threatening disease for your dog. So don't give them fried and fatty foods. Plus, they get the doggy squitters, and then you got to clean that up. Onions, garlic, chives, and then the associated powders, onion powder, garlic powder, right? Don't give these things to your dog. They can be toxic and in some severe cases even kill your pet. Onion, garlic, chives, so leftover pasta and stuff like that, it's going to have that in it, okay? And don't give onions to your dog. I don't know of anybody's dog that's like, fuck, man, I can't, give me the onion. No. Some dogs might. So just tell them no. Salty snacks in large quantities. Salty snacks can make dogs really ill, okay? The occasional potato chip you toss at them every once in a while at a picnic, or a little pretzel that you give them every once in a blue moon, not a big deal, okay? Probably won't do any harm. But in large quantities, ergo, doggo stole a bag of chips and just buried his face in it and went to town, that could be a problem. Okay, so salty snacks, keep their salt low. And finally, something that we've created that is harmful for your dogs is xylitol. It is a sugar substitute. Xylitol is in a lot of sugarless products, right? We saw it a lot in chewing gums and things like that. Xylitol with an X. Sugarless gum, candy, oral products, peanut butters and nut butters will have xylitol sometimes. It can be deadly if ingested by a dog. So don't, watch that out. And some of us will do peanut butter, right, to get them to take a pill or to do other things. Cooperate and give you some peanut butter. We'll check that peanut butter. Make sure it's not xylitol nuts up in there. Terrible. I guess we're going to do this last segment because it's 8:16, and as frustrated as I am with a lot of things, this is something we have to touch. And it feels like today's central theme of the show, unintentionally, has been about news sourcing, actual news, and all these kind of things. I don't really know how that came to be my Monday theme. It wasn't what I was planning on doing, but it feels like everything we talked about, with the exception of don't let your dog eat this or it'll die, has been relative to news and trust and news sources. I'm a big fan of trust. And I think most of us are. But I tend to trust people until you give me a reason not to. Unless first instinct is to not trust you, then you're going to have to earn it. And most people do have to earn my trust. But I tend to side with the you're okay until you fuck up with people. Now, with news sources, with information sources, with all of that, I am not immune to reading something and going, holy cow, that's it. And then 2 paragraphs in going, this is bullshit and this is an AI story. I feel like I'm pretty well read. I'm a pretty intelligent guy. I'm, son of an English teacher and common sense prevails. I usually pick up on these things. It's getting harder and harder to decipher. So it's harder to weed through the news. And I have repeatedly mentioned my disdain for politics. I don't like them. I don't like, no offense to you as a human politician person, I don't like politicians. I don't like politics. I don't float in the circles. I don't ever want to run for office. You're not going to catch me running for mayor. You're not going to catch me running for school board. No. Because when we hope for change to be enacted, we're usually disappointed, and it's usually a stalemate somewhere. So anyway, when it comes down to it, I believe in doing the right thing and leaving me the frick alone. And that's kind of my rule of thumb with law and the federal intervention with things and all of that. And that's where we're transitioning to, is talking about federal intervention. I don't live in Montana, but I do my part to obey the common sense laws. And if I'm strapped, it's legal for me to be as such. But just try to be a good human. Do the right thing, right? So many people are. And the reality is crime has gotten out of control in many major cities. Major crime, murders and things like that may not be the essence of what it is. I mean, those things have gone up. Some have gone down in some major cities. That's always in a constant fluctuation. But the smaller crimes like these, what do they call it? It's basically like, say, 50 teenagers all blow into a Nike store and basically just raid the store, run back out. It's almost like a mass looting. Those kind of things are the, you can go on the internet today and you can buy a 4-wheeler for $550 from China and get it to your house. You don't have to go through anything. You don't have to license it because of X number of CCs and all this kind of stuff. The big cities have got problems where teenagers and young kids are ripping through the streets on 4-wheelers and dirt bikes and do all this kind of stuff. And it's not a major crime problem. The problem is when that happens, it can cause accidents or it can kill the kids. A dumbass ripping on a 4-wheeler with no helmet, and now he's dead. These are all like old white guy moment things, right? Lots of problems. But the crime is an issue. The cities are having trouble controlling it. Sometimes it's because the city budget can't afford the proper law enforcement able to do it. A lot of times it comes back to, well, we just generationally stopped disciplining and let electronic devices raise our kids. So there is no moral compass. So they just don't think it's wrong to do A, B, C, D, E. And that is increased. And Gregor, that's not a bad point. So what I want to update you on is federal law enforcement in the spotlight. What's going on in 3 major cities? You can see Chicago, Portland, and Memphis. These are things that have been on the news. I've been talking about it. The president has said, I'm going to send the National Guard. And the cities are like, the fuck you are. And some of them are like, oh, maybe. So what's going on with all of this? What's actually happening? Okay, let's start with Portland, Oregon. Recent weeks have seen a renewed federal law enforcement focus on protests in Portland, Oregon. Citing the protection of federal buildings, ergo that is what they use as the reason to be there in place. The federal courthouse is right here. We're going to have troops around it. The Department of Homeland Security has deployed agents to the city of Portland. That has led to the confrontations with demonstrators. Things have gotten heated and has reignited a debate over the role of federal forces in local crowd control. They crush them and don't give them back. Wow, really? That's wild. When I was in Baltimore, this has been 6 years ago or so, it was a major problem up there. And my meeting there was with a coalition that works with youth in the city, inner city kids across the board and families. And we had conversations about this. And we saw, have fun, right? But we did it on dirt tracks, not in the middle of Baltimore. I don't know. But I'm a big fan of federal government. Stay the fuck out. But when your state government and your city government is inept, what else do you do? So that's what's going on in Portland right now. And it's, again, a lot of focus on protests issues. Not necessarily Portland is dealing with a big gang issues and the Fed needs to come in. No. This is kind of a hot gas in Portland, all right? Kind of creating its own situation. Chicago. St. Louis has made the hot list so many times. I'm really surprised this conversation isn't around St. Louis. But Chicago had what was called Operation Summer Heat. And this netted them dozens of fugitives, people who were running from the law. But this was a significant crackdown on violent crime. The FBI teamed up with state and local partners. They conducted Operation Summer Heat. This arrested numerous fugitives wanted for serious offenses and kind of was an aim to dismantle the crime networks in Chicago and reduce the city's high crime rates. Now, again, this was an operation that's been and done and was successful, all things considered there. But then there's this push of, we're sending the National Guard, and J.D. Pritzker's big buffalo head said no, and now everybody's arguing with each other about Chicago. That's hot. And then Memphis. And I have not been to Memphis as a tourist in many years. We used to go down Beale Street every once in a blue moon, hang out, or go to Memphis Blues Festival or the barbecue. You go down to Memphis, have a good time. 20 years ago. I've not been in 20 years. And apparently now you have to spend money to even get on Beale Street. You can't just go down there and go on Beale Street. I didn't know that. They charge admission to the road. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee has announced the formation of the, quote, Memphis Safe Task Force. This is a multi-agency initiative similar to the conjunctions in Chicago for that operation, okay? But it's aimed at tackling the city's crime problem. They're kind of looking at Chicago as a model. The task force will see a significant influx of federal agents from bureaus like FBI, ATF, DEA. They're going to work alongside with the state and local law enforcement to try to shore things up in Memphis. Now, I cannot speak to the current Memphis crime situation, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. So that's our three hot spots, Portland, Chicago, and Memphis, and what's going on in those cities and what is currently being talked about. Now, the National Guard deployment, this is something that we've been hearing hot news about, right? A notable deployment in both Portland and Memphis would be the deployment of National Guard to support law enforcement efforts. In Portland, the role is tied to, again, those ongoing protests, the things that we've mentioned earlier. And in Memphis, they're providing support for this newly established crime-fighting task force of FBI, ATF, DEA, Memphis PD. What county is Memphis in? I forgot. Anyway, state, county, blah, 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 all teaming up for that. This marks a significant use of military personnel in domestic law enforcement, which is kind of a crux of what people have the biggest problem about. And I have a problem with this too, frankly. I do not feel that federal military, national military's role within our city is a domestic crime reinforcement. But what else do you do when you can't beat the problem? In the movie Red Dawn, the original Red Dawn, right? They land in our little Midwestern city. Everything's fine until they land there, and then we got troops hopefully coming to help us. National Guard moving in. We don't know. We're in trouble. That is not the situation here. This is not, Cuba invading us from the skies. This is our own citizens and our own things, and domestically, there are major problems. I don't know how to fix it. But this is what the current option is. U.S. Now, this is immigration offenses is a whole nother side of this subject, and we're not even on that. But in Chicago, this was a big debate over here. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, a.k.a. ICE, has been conducting Operation Midway Blitz in the Chicago area. This was arresting individuals with outstanding warrants and deportation orders, those who committed immigration-related offenses, leading to a notable increase in immigration enforcement actions in the region, in Chicago. Now, again, it all sounds great that they're only targeting the people that are this. Everybody's that is human, their situation is different. But that's what's been going on in Chicago for that end of it. The increased federal presence in all three cities has sparked intense debates about jurisdiction and local control. Who's actually in charge of this that's going on in my city? Officials have expressed varying degrees of support and concern about that expanded role of federal agencies in their communities, and it's raised a lot of questions about the balance of power between the feds and the local authorities. And it's not because they're butting heads because one wants to be in charge. It's who should be in charge legally as a precedent. We have to figure that out. The FBI, DHS are prominent in all three of these cities, but the specific mix of federal agencies involved varies. In Portland, DHS and the U.S. Marshals have been highly visible. Chicago has seen a strong FBI and ICE presence, as mentioned. Memphis is anticipating a broad coalition of agencies, DEA, ATF, as part of that new task force. The stated reasons for the heightened federal activity differentiate across the cities, right? Portland, again, the protection of federal property and personnel. You got to protect the federal building here, the federal building there. That's why we're here, because they're protesting. Chicago and Memphis are explicitly aimed at combating high rates of violent crime and targeting criminal organizations. The public reaction to the increased thing has been mixed, obviously. In Portland, it has been met with significant protest and criticism, as we've seen. Chicago and Memphis, while some community members have expressed hope that it would work and there would be a reduction in crime, the majority seems to have raised concern about the overreach and the impact on civil liberties. So we're going to wrap this up by saying this. The events that we've seen in Portland and Chicago and Memphis are indicative of a broader national trend of an increased federal involvement in local law enforcement. Don't tread on me. You're flying your flag today. What's that going to mean in 5 years? Obviously, in the middle of nowhere, BFE, it's not going to mean a whole lot. But in your major cities, and that trickles out to other major cities and not so major cities, will this become a trend that we will see repetitively? Will we see this happen in St. Louis? Will we see this happen in Tulsa? These deployments and operations indicate a strategic shift in addressing both the civil unrest and violent crime, signals a more assertive role for federal agencies in the U.S. I'm not a fan. Right, Gregory. How to declare martial law without declaring martial law. You're right. And that's, I guess, my biggest fear of it is at the end of the day, we don't want a nation state. We have individual states with individual laws, and there's a reason for our democratic process and the way that we have set these things up. But there's always a way to spin it. There's always a loop. There's always a shift. There's always a redistricting. There's always these kind of things at the end of the day, so that the donkeys can do their thing and the elephants can do their thing. So there you go. I don't know. There's no resolution for this from me. This is not now here's the solution. I don't have one. We can't even start to have one. But again, as you look at news sources, as what you can trust, as what you cannot, those are the simple facts of what's going on in these three cities. And if you're close to one of those, or if you're concerned about how your city is taking these things on, then dig in, okay? Talk to your city offices. Find out, is there an approach going on right now between our city council and the federal government? Or, stay informed and try to stay informed with honest sources. I guess that's the bottom line. And that's why I was on the fence about talking about this today, because I don't fucking like politics. I don't like talking about it. I don't like talking about anything that comes along with it. But I'm just, It's just nothing but noise and haze and dust and fog in the air, hanging about 12 feet off the ground and coming at you about chest high to make sure you're staying in the cloud and keeping things foggy and still breathing in whatever they're pumping into it. And I think that's part of it for me, is just duck under the smoke or get above it. Wolverines! Taught us all to pee in the radiator when your truck overheats. All right. Fred, that's it. Don't tread on me, but watch me tread. All right. It is 8:32. Since I started kind of late and dicked around at the top anyway, we're going to wrap it up right now with some warm and fuzzies. We're going to get back on track and have a great week. Wednesday we'll do a show. We'll do a show Friday as far as I know, unless something else blows up. But we're going to send you off on your Monday adventures with this. In Chicago, amidst all the other madness, Eden, a Great Pyrenees Labrador Retriever mix, was recently elected the first pet mayor of the city of Chicago. Congratulations, Eden, or at least of Chicago's Portland Park neighborhood. Eden is a 5-year-old pupper who beat out 60 other candidates and visits the neighborhood park daily for playtime. Eden's owner rescued her from Paws Chicago. The pet election collected up 1,200 items for a local food pantry, which is awesome. Good stuff for the humans, good stuff for the doggos. Congrats, Eden. May your term be bountiful. KDVR says a Colorado Springs resident recently adopted a one-eyed stray cat named Tiger. Thursday's your B-Day. We'll have appropriate Wednesday celebrations. The resident fell in love with Tiger at a shelter. Tiger is adjusting well and is a playful, affectionate companion. I love the adoption stories, man. Adopt, don't shop, all day long. Last but not least, the Tullahoma News says 2 Tullahoma, Tennessee Good Samaritans watched as a car crashed into a tree and then burst into flames. Holy crap! 2 girls were trapped inside. Scary stuff. James Sanders and Zach Angelo worked together to save the young women from the fiery wreckage. Angelo's quick action and the help of others ensured the victims were rescued before the car became completely engulfed in flames. Of course, we pray for those girls, make a full recovery from the accident. But serendipity of having somebody in the right place at the right time. Had that been a road nobody was on, they had not seen it, who knows if those girls would have survived it. If you can take action, and it is for the good of the order, then take action. Have an action-filled Monday. I'm tired. I'm just mentally tired, and I'm ready for something to focus on that shuts all the other things out for a while. Yeah? Does that make sense? I need my focus point this morning. Hey, that's your Friday. Boy, oh boy. That's your Monday. See? It went so fast. Happy 4 days ahead of it birthday to Dennis. I'll see you guys Wednesday, all right? Have a great week.